All right, guys, welcome back to the YouTube. So this is going to be running through my contest prep plans for 2025, as well as giving some really solid advice for first-timers, specifically 3 points that I want to touch on for first-time competitors going into 2025. This is coming from someone who's done multiple contest seasons now. I've been to British finals. I've been there, done the do, as it were. So, you know, I like to think I've got enough skin in the game to give you a really grounded, clear perspective on what I'm about to be talking about today. So, first things first, the plan of action. So, for some who follow the Instagram, as many of you will know at this point, I've now started my contest prep. Now, a lot of you might be scratching your heads if you're not used to the idea of like a contest prep structure and going, holy shit, you started like early, like fuck, you know, you're gonna be dieting for over a year, which is, yes, that's true, sort of. So I'm currently doing a pre-prep. The goal of this phase is essentially to pull off the initial chunk of body fat before next year, which will make my life a whole lot easier going into the contest prep. So from September all the way through to December, I'll be dieting. So over the span of 12 weeks, I'll be pulling down from around 98 kilos down to 90 kilogram. So losing about 0.6 kilos a week, so just over a pound a week. So nice and easy, nothing overly aggressive. This is also great because it gives me an opportunity to continue progressing in a lot of the new movements that I'm going to be doing over the course of this prep now that I've moved back to Ultraflex and Rotherham, and having access to that wealth of crazy good kit, which I'll be running for the foreseeable, you know, over the course of this entire prep, ideally. Now, when it comes to doing a pre-prep, why do you actually want to do it? So for me, I've done a prep without having done a pre-prep. My first ever prep, I started prepping in March of that year. I had over 50 pounds to lose, and I was competing in August. So, you know, you do the maths, guys. I was dieting for like 20 plus weeks, and I pulled off 50 plus pounds in one long diet stint with no breaks. And I lost a shit ton of strength, a lot of muscle tissue, and probably accrued a shit ton of fatigue, which meant that when I got on stage at the end, I probably didn't look as good as I could have looked, to be honest, right? And what that means for me going into my last prep was, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a pre-prep. I pulled off like a stone before that year. So I was a little bit leaner, a little bit lighter than I had been previously. I started in better condition, only by a little bit, but I had a ton more tissue. So over the course of diet, it wasn't as big a deal, but I still was starting to, you know, die off a little bit at the end of my contest prep in 2022 as well. And I couldn't have really extended it much further if I needed to compete yet again that year. Now this time, I'm going to be pulling off, you know, up to 20 pounds of that before Christmas, more like 18 pounds before Christmas. And I'll be nearer stage lean by Christmas. I will then have a diet break over Christmas and go into a second diet phase, have another diet break potentially, and then go into a third diet phase. Okay, so break it down to 3 stages over the course of the prep. Now, that gives you so much more time to stick the landing and get in actual contest condition without placing a goddamn crazy amount of stress on your body. Because at the end of the day, it's all fun, you know, being a bodybuilder, but it does place a ton of stress when you're dieting for, you know, a year plus, right? It's a lot of pressure on the body, and you need to give yourself time to adjust and recover and things like that, especially if it's your first time. So yeah, losing a bunch of weight before Christmas, be around 90 kilo at Christmas. Potentially I'll do a photo shoot around that time as well, because why not? I'm in decent nick. And then going into Christmas, it'll be a diet break. I'll bounce back up ever so slightly to maybe 94 kilo, something like that. Nothing crazy. This, over the course of this diet break, is more so than anything else just to allow me to get some good training performance back, potentially, if I have lost any, which I don't think I will, to be honest. And also potentially continue to progress in the gym and almost put myself in a position where I can start to grow over the course of the prep as well. Shocker, oh my God, the idea of a natural guy gaining muscle in the diet phase, crazy, who would have thought it, right? And then Lawrence is pulling faces at me. Whoa, crazy, bro. The fucking soy jack face though. Oh, crazy face. Yeah, literally. I'll be doing this second 12-week diet until sort of the end of March time. At that point, I'll be going to Japan for 3 weeks. Now, a lot of you are going, whoa, he's going away on like a long-ass fucking holiday for 3 weeks. Guys, I'll be around Tokyo, Kyoto, all the big cities in Japan. They have Gold's gyms. I have access to a bunch of cool stuff. There's Hibitada's gym as well, which is like a pro bodybuilder's gym over there. There's a bunch of really, really good gyms over in Japan, and I've spoken to a few other people who've been over there over the past year to get a feel for it, and yeah, it seems like I'll have a lot of access. And at the end of the day, Japan is rice, fish, meat, vegetables. And, you know, there's not many opportunities to be splurging, and I'll be doing crazy steps walking around there anyway, so it's going to be quite easy to manage. And that will be my second diet break. So first one being Christmas, second one being Japan. Then I'll be going into the final phase, and this is where we try and stick the landing. So I'll have bounced back after that diet break to no more than 90 kilo. I don't know if I'll even have got back up in body weight at that point, to be honest. I think it'll be a tough gig for me to gain weight. At that point, I will then pull back and I'll go all in, and that's where we get absolutely peeled inside out. And what that means is that I can do, you know, what is essentially 36 weeks of dieting in a year and not be an absolute mess at the end of it. So another point, because I've said already that I'm starting my prep now, which is very early, okay? So we're starting prep now. Start early. If you're going to compete next year, you should be starting now. You should be prepping now. You should be setting yourself up for success now. Not at Christmas, not in January. You know, we're not like New Year's fucking like gym goers. Like we don't need to wait for a time to start going and doing that and pursuing the goal. Start now. Start prepping yourself now, whether it's, you know, training, nutrition, posing, lifestyle, making a lifestyle your work situation work for the goal that you have next year. Start doing it now. Don't leave it to chance. That's why I'm starting prep now. That's why I'm trying to sort all my shit now, because when it comes to next year, it'll be too late. It comes around so quick. So if you're going to start prepping and you want to prep for next year, start now. And if you want help prepping for next year, shoot me a DM, book a link, click the link in my Instagram bio, book a call with me, a free consultation call, and we can start running through some sort of pre-prep plan. So some of the other reasons for doing that, starting so early, starting now when it comes to a prep, is as a first timer, you don't know how much you have to lose. You might think you know, but you don't know. I promise you that. Looking at Lawrence, who had abs at the start of prep and still had to lose however many pounds, right? You don't realize how much weight has to come off you to be stage lean or for you to be competitive. So that's a factor. Another factor is going to be you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're rushing yourself, or you're a last minute Andy and you're a week out from the show and you don't know what you're doing. Like you need to start practicing the posing now. You need to start getting in a better body comp now. You need to start training for the goal now. With that as well, another point and another topic and another reason why you want to be in better composition earlier is because if you're rushing around to lose the fat at the end of a diet phase, when you're immunocompromised, where your CNS is already fried, where systemic fatigue is going to be way higher, where your recovery is going to bomb, where your food's low. If you're trying to get it off then, you're going to lose potentially a lot more muscle. It's going to be a lot harder to do, and you're putting an unnecessary amount of stress on yourself for no reason, when you could have had it done months ago. And that's a really common one for first timers. So to reiterate this second point, the second big thing for you guys to think about is make sure you have a jumping off point or jumping off point. So you've created the time to, you know, get the full diet done and get contest lean. Make sure you have jumping off points across that phase where you've allocated time and you can go, okay, we're going to take 2 weeks here, diet break, give yourself a chance to drop off all that diet fatigue, get some training performance back, build food back up a bit, get your body in a more responsive position for the next phase of prep. And that'll put you in a much better position when it comes to getting on stage where you're not burnt out and you're not tired, and you can actually enjoy doing the show part of bodybuilding, which is like, you know, what we do it for. We want to get on stage, present ourselves, and present a package we can be proud of. There's nothing worse than getting on stage looking like a bag of milk because you just burned off all your tissue, you've got a ton of fluid retained from stress and things like that. You can manage it a lot better. So going into the last phase of prep. So the last phase of prep is going to be an interesting one. I have no clue what my contest weight is going to be. I have no expectation. I've never had an expectation, as I said before, because I went from 74 kilo all the way up to 84 kilo between my two preps. So 74 kilo stage weight first prep, 84 second prep. I've not got a clue what I'll be. I think I'll be in the 80s realistically. I just don't know where in the 80s I'll be. Most likely heavier though. So yeah, the plan for me is going to be get peeled from that point, whatever peeled is bodyweight wise, so be it. And I'm intending to do more shows than I've ever done before in a competitive season. So my first year I competed, I did 2 shows. The second year I competed, I did 4 shows. That last time I did 2 qualifiers and 2 finals that I qualified for. This time I want to do, you know, potentially 6, 7, we'll see. I want to do more shows, and the biggest thing I think you'll find after your first competitive season is you'll look back at it and go, fuck, I want to do more. I wish I could have done more. And if you ask a lot of competitors, that's where they catch the bug, where they go, oh, I'm going to compete next year as well. That's what I did my first year of competing. I said to my coach, AJ, at the time, I want to compete next year. And he said, no way in hell. You can't do that. And it's because I only did 2 shows and I'd caught the bug and I wanted to get on stage. I got in the condition where I could go on stage and I wanted to present, and I caught the bodybuilding bug. And as a result, I would recommend for first timers, don't waste that opportunity. Try and get as many shows under your belt as possible in that first season. Partly from a perspective of, okay, you can try a lot of different approaches to peak weeks and things like that, and you can learn your body a bit more. And on top of that, you'll have more fun doing it that way. You've got in this stage condition, you've been dieting for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Don't waste the opportunity. Actually get on stage, have fun, enjoy the process. Whether you win or lose, you're now in the bodybuilding game. Like you can get on stage and present that package that you've worked so hard for. So yeah, guys, that is a brief rundown of my contest prep. So I'll be doing shows going into the back end of next year, so summer next year onwards. And in the meantime, I've got, 24 plus weeks of dieting to get done. This first phase is going to be pulling down to 90 kilo, at which point I will be pretty damn lean. And then from there, it's pulling down again and again until I am absolutely peeled inside out. The leanest I've ever been on stage. And yeah, I can't wait to get on a final stage next year. Super excited. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.